All right, I'm going to address the theme of education for transdisciplinary learning. My point of departure is unsurprising, which is that we face a polycrisis, a nested set of economic, social, ecological, and technical crises, which together constitutes our sustainability challenge. But I think the most significant implication of this challenge that we face is that it's difficult to comprehend using traditional disciplinary lenses. Unfortunately, our university system has evolved in a way that it concentrates on reinforcing what I like to call disciplinary apartheid, which fragments the reality that we face and makes it difficult to understand these bigger challenges. But there is a growing trend in a number of universities to set up multi- and interdisciplinary programs. And this needs to be welcomed. But what I'm going to argue is that we need to go beyond multi- and interdisciplinary research to what I think we should start calling transdisciplinary research. And there is a significant difference between interdisciplinary research and transdisciplinary research. Interdisciplinary research tends to focus on cooperation between the disciplines in order to address societal problems, but from the perspective of science. So science remains in control, and solutions are generated for society. There's a growing dissatisfaction with this because we need to address the challenge of incorporating societal actors into the process of knowledge generation. And that's where there's an increasing number of institutions at universities around the world that are starting to address what the Future Earth platform refers to as transdisciplinary research for transformation. So what transdisciplinary research tends to do is make a distinction between systems knowledge, understanding what exists, target knowledge, understanding what should exist, and transformation knowledge, which is knowledge about the process of change. Now, once you give emphasis to knowledge for the process of change, then a couple of significant shifts start to take place. The most important is that we're no longer talking about generating solutions for society, but rather co-producing solutions with societal actors. And that effectively means drawing into research teams and therefore training researchers at university to facilitate the involvement of societal actors as co-members of these research teams. And that really rests on the assumption that scientific knowledge and the common sense that is drawn in, or the indigenous knowledge that is drawn in by societal actors, have equal weight in the process of co-production of solutions with society. One of the key implications of this way of learning is that problem statements are not derived from the literature, but are derived from a social process of engagement. And that means training at university researchers in facilitation skills, which is not normally done. So one of the key implications of this shift is that science is no longer in control. In interdisciplinary research, science and research still tends to be extractive. When you start incorporating societal actors into the co-production of solutions, you move into a collaborative framework, and that's what's really important. The shift from extractive knowledge to collaborative knowledge generation. Now, if you accept this basic paradigm, it has implications for how we train researchers at universities. There are two shifts that really matter here, and that I would give emphasis to. The first is that learners are not just researchers. The learners are also societal actors, and that together the learners and the societal actors collaborating around knowledge generation start to form epistemic communities or transdisciplinary epistemic communities that start to generate innovative solutions to address the challenges that we face. Now, if one accepts the overall logic, which I'm summarizing very briefly here for the sake of this particular contribution, I think what we will end up having to face is that the traditional divisions between disciplines within universities are going to have to break down. There will need to be, yes, more and more of these interdisciplinary programs that we're seeing, especially to address the sustainability challenge. But we are going to have to make sure that these interdisciplinary institutions work out how to involve societal actors in this kind of collaborative research. Why this is particularly important from the context that I come from is that in Africa, in African countries, including South Africa, we have a dearth of research institutions that are engaged in the actual real-world problems that we face. And this is a particular tragedy because you have academics training students to think about publishing in scientific journals in the global community, but are disconnected from the very real challenges that they face in their own local communities, their own local societies. And that's got a lot to do with the methods that they are taught and the absence of an understanding of the kind of epistemology that I've been trying to refer to here. So there's an increasing, at least significant community of researchers in Europe as well as in Africa and other contexts which are trying to experiment with this. And the key shift that is taking place in the African context is that we don't have formal institutionalized stakeholders to engage with like you have in the European context. Instead, you have informal communities. And what that means is that researchers have to play quite interventionist roles, almost as activist researchers, to engage with societal actors, to build networks, to build movements, to build policy engagements between different government, private sector, and civil society groups in order to support the process of learning with research rather than assuming that research is going to generate all the answers and then deliver that in a paternalistic way to the societal stakeholders. So that's my brief contribution to this discussion. And I just recommend that we, in future, pay quite a lot more attention to this emerging tradition of transdisciplinary learning within the university sector. Thank you.